Hey everyone, Chloe here, and welcome back to this Hypergamous platform, and welcome back to this feminine channel. And if you are a new subscriber to our soft power community, then hello and hi and welcome. So I'm a bit late, but I wanted to case study respond to the amount of women who wanted me to touch on Tamar Braxton's public meltdown, but instead we are going to do a deeper dive on why there seems to be some sort of uptick of women who are resorting to paying for a man, or what I call the sugar mama syndrome. And we all know women like this. They are in our families, and sometimes they are a very heavy influence to the point where their very own daughters and granddaughters are practicing these very same anti-seductive and very unfeminine habits of paying a man's way. Now, paying a man's way isn't anything new, but it is rooted in masculine energy, and more importantly, it is often rooted in desperation and the fear of being alone. And this spending does have many names. It's called tricking, sometimes it's called settling, or some version of hypergamy, where a woman is dysfunctionally catering to a man's financial needs, or in some cases, catering to a man who is well below her station in order to buy his love or to purchase his loyalty, like in the most recent whisperings of Megan Good, who is 43, and her man Jonathan, who is 35. And in the most recent case study of reality TV star Jennifer Williams. Now, Jennifer is 49, her felon bae fiance is 30, a 500-year difference. Now, sadly, older doesn't always mean wiser.
When you first saw Jennifer, did you know who she was?
I never watched the show, you know what I mean? But I knew exactly who she was.
Were you in a relationship at the time you saw Jen?
I had literally just gotten out of one with my children's mother.
You guys first met, how old were you?
29, and she was 47.
When you found out he was 29, was it a red flag for you?
He checks all these boxes for me. Let's see.
Things about you going to prison. There's things about domestic violence charges.
My charge was false imprisonment.
Long were you sentenced? For how many years?
10 years to serve 7.
Did you ever get physically harmed in prison?
I was stabbed in a gang war.
There's a lot of...
And then, of course, the situation we talked about with me and parole and still paying restitution.
Yeah.
It's an astronomical amount that I have to get to them in order to make sure I'm off. And we're talking a little under 250,000.
Christian is on probation from a case 10 years ago that is still affecting his life.
I went to prison behind a toxic relationship.
Really?
Never put my hands on her, right? I'm blocking the door. So I'm trying to have a conversation. It gets heated. And of course, the judge had it out for me. She sent me to prison.
I knew about the restitution since day one. However, I didn't know the number. We have this extravagant wedding that is going to cost somewhere near that. It's just bad timing. So basically, there's $250,000 left. That's like $50,000 a month.
50K. But this is the reason why I want to be released from their control, because there's no hindrance on me traveling outside the country. And I would hate for that to happen a month before our wedding.
Yeah. Well, I think...
But with these clips that are floating around online, this entire marriage with Jennifer is giving opportunists mixed with desperation, intentional blindness, and an intentional willingness to not see the forest for the trees. But like I always say, these are Jennifer's lessons to learn and her mistakes to make, because it is her life. And no matter what anyone says, a woman will always be willing to be a red balloon to the clown that she likes. And from the sounds of it, it seems like Jennifer is forging ahead, and that she is indeed desperate enough to pay all of that man-child's liabilities in order to secure this marriage. But there is nothing about this man that says husband material, but more of a vibe of clout chaser. And I absolutely hate that for her, because all I truly do see behind her eyes is a fear of being alone. But a lot of your girlfriends and your parasocial relationships online are secretly taking care of their men, and they simply do not want you to know about it. And some women will even go as far as to cover up their sugar mama syndrome by even cosplaying the role of a provider for a wife. Now, I'm starting to see an uptick in stories of women who have been exposed for either being the role reversal breadwinners or financially tricking on the object of their desire in secret. and where they are building their public relationships on a foundation of lies. The recent case studies of Calvin Candy and Tamar Braxton, who behaves like she fell off a turnip truck yesterday, or Jennifer Williams with her felon bae, or Rachel Lindsay and her soft boy life ex-husband, or the full-out perjury of Rose from Queen of Kings, are all examples of how paying for a man can and will implode a woman's feminine spirit. Women do not like to pay for men, but they will do it. But something nasty tends to come out when the masculine spirit is drained, as we are at our best when we are receivers. Ladies, it is the man's job to provide the resources, the structure, the containment, and the protection so that you can feel safe. So when you make the decision to give a man exorbitant amounts of provision, or in Tamar's case, access to your credit card, the table flips over and the relationship dynamic becomes completely out of order, not to mention the secondhand embarrassment such as this.
I didn't say he cheated on me. I said you played in my face, because the truth of the matter is that you were supposed to be here for me, to show up for me on Sunday, and you didn't do that. And just like I told him, like, well, this got to be a two-way street, boo. Like, I can't show up for you and you don't show up for me. That can't happen. And so you decided to extend your trip and didn't say anything to me. When things come out about men, they always say, oh, the woman is delusional. Oh, we wasn't together. Oh, I wasn't leading nobody on. And, oh, they did the things on their own. Come on. How many times have we heard that story? I didn't ask myself to no birthday parties. This person told me right over here at the St. Regis, I want you to be a part of my birthday. Now, y'all got to realize, now the man didn't say the status of our relationship. At that time, we were very much married.
Ladies, the vital lesson to learn here, and some women love to learn the hard way, which of course gives us so much case study material to unpack. But the simple Simon lesson to learn here is that you cannot purchase love from a man. And you also cannot be a man's provider. He will either drag you and use you, secretly not respect you, kiki behind your back by spending your money to impress another woman, or you will grow to resent your masculine actions by trying to publicly embarrass him for something that you should have never done in the first place as a woman. Paying for a man is not only very desperate, anti-seductive behavior, it is also a sign to a man that ding, 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 that you don't know your worth, and even worse, that you're so desperate to be pair bonded that you're willing to be a man's sugar mama by footing the bill. And I don't care what color he is. But as a black woman, it is doubly embarrassing when you get got, because you definitely should not be paying for a man who is the most financially privileged man on earth, and he definitely should not have your credit card. So ladies, I implore you to do the work. And the earlier that you can do this work, the better, because you do not want to be in your 40s, in your 50s, and your 60s making goofy mistakes like this. Now, of course, this video is not about humiliating Megan Good or Tamar, because Tamar does a good enough job of that on her own. But for my ladies over 25 and especially over 40,
I love you. You know that. You just said you love me, so now all of a sudden, now we not. Okay. So I'm pretending and I'm delusional. Me and your relationship status has changed. The way I see you have changed. You know what I'm saying? Just like you outside, baby, I'm outside too. Like, let's stop pretending like you is the last of the Mohicans. You are not. You know what I'm saying? It's just not like, oh, I'm addicted to the white meat. Like, it was fine for what I had, but okay. It ain't giving that. And the truth is, I put too much on it because we were married, and I take my vows serious, and I thought that you did too. And I married you after you ate somebody, whole booty sandwich. So we're not going to pretend that this man has not been airing me out and embarrassing me for the past 6 months. You're nasty and you're not nice, and I didn't do anything to you. Don't make it seem like I'm a bad person. Don't make it seem like I didn't put up with a lot. Don't make it seem like, oh, I've been so gracious to her, and I have been giving grace, and she's a da-da-ba-da-ba-da-ta-da-wop-wop. No, baby.
having full online meltdowns over men who are playing you in the face is a sign that the universe is trying to shake you at your core and wake you up from your stagnant ways of thinking, moving, and being. It is the universe's way of making it hurt so bad and embarrassing you so much so that you can finally get the message that it is time to work on that self-love before it is too late. And more importantly, that it is time for you to mature in your femininity, because the younger ladies and your children, if you have them, are watching and they are observing. And a lot of feathers may be ruffled to hear this, but you can go argue with the wall. But at a certain age, there is the expectation that you should be setting an example, not getting played by a booty-eating Dusty who has 5 different children by 4 different women while using your credit card to bed someone half his age. Ladies, having full-on meltdowns in public over a man that shouldn't even been given a second look is no bueno. But when you are deep in the throes of the sugar mama syndrome, you basically have no feminine pride. As women, we are at our feminine best in romantic relationships when we are poured into and when we are receivers, and it will always be that way. And when we try to do it the unnatural way, it will always blow up in our faces with utter humiliation. When you give a man money, you're essentially establishing the precedent that he is the prize. So ladies, as an unsexy solution, if you desire to break away from the dysfunction and the chaos and the lower frequency of trying to buy a man's love, ladies, if you find yourself in an emotional and spiritual space of desperation, stop running away from yourself and break the cycles and break the chains by getting the mental help, the spiritual help, and the support that you need by beginning a relationship with a highly vetted therapist to turn your low self-worth narrative all the way around so that receiving can come to you naturally. I do not know the details of Tamar's childhood history, and usually our low self-esteem problems can be traced back to when we were mini-me's. But underneath all of her melodramatic outbursts, she is an absolute spiritual and dysfunctional hot mess who doesn't feel worthy, and for Tamar, this unworthiness is dripping out of her pores. So ladies, when you don't do the prize work, you are always going to attract a man who will see you as low-hanging fruit and who will always look to you as an opportunity to play you to the left. Ladies, men are very simple. Men fall in love with us according to our standards, our boundaries, our soft power, and according to the level of respect that we have for ourselves. And if you don't respect yourself enough to walk away, he will smell your fear of losing him, and he will essentially know that you see him as the prize, and it's game on for the placeholder drag. So that is all that I have to say on this for now. I am so tired of seeing women pay a man's way. I'm tired of seeing women lie for the men that they're with when these men are bums. And I am tired of women not getting the lesson that a man knows that taking money from a woman is one of the most unmasculine actions that a man can take. But a sick man of low character will never have a problem using a woman. So ultimately, it is your job as a woman to have those ironclad standards in place. So ladies and lurkers, to get this conversation started, why do women try to buy love? Have you ever tried to purchase a man's love yourself? And if so, how did that work out for you? And can a man really love you if you're footing the bill? And as always, I thank you for listening. I thank you for watching. I thank you for subscribing. And I thank you for sharing my videos. Over 1 million of you have watched my videos in the month of August, so I thank you in advance. And please stay tuned for more case study videos to come. And I will catch up with you ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers in the next one.
I don't know who needs to hear this today, but nothing will stop you from finding the love of your life more than the man you are trying to turn into the love of your life. Because love is not something that is earned, it is given freely. And if I had $1 for every time I told myself, well, he loves me, but it's complicated, I would be a lot richer by now. But since I didn't, I'm glad that at least the universe knew to keep love simple even when I tried to make it complicated. Rest in not peace to the days where I thought that the best love was the love that I had to fight for, because what I didn't realize was that I was fighting alone. That telling someone you refuse to give up on your relationship doesn't actually stop them from giving up on you. Now, while some of the best things in life are indeed worth fighting for, not all battles are worth fighting for. Because sometimes winning the battle of Chad's temporary love means losing the war against the voice inside your head telling you that you don't deserve more. Please remember that sinking more time into a relationship that has already wasted your time is not tenacity, it's stupidity. And while most of us are stupid at least once in our lives, do not allow yourself to be stupid with the same Chad twice. Biddies, the day my life changed was the day I realized that I was never going to meet my husband if I was too busy trying to fix the Chad. So if you learn anything today from this 60-second blip on the internet, it's that we only find the love we deserve once we stop crowding our lives with the love that we settled for.